Hi, folks. This is Mark Knudsen, and I'm with Charlie Bros, and this is Disability Landscape. And Charlie, you've got a guest, and I'll let you introduce your guest at this time, and it's all over to you.
Hey, this is Charlie Bros. I'm here today with Ryan Trench from Courage County Rehab Institute. Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do there? I know you're involved with the sports rec program. You've been there how long? Just give us a little background here.
Yeah, so I'm a program coordinator in the Sports and Recreation Department at Courage County. I've been there for almost 3 years now.
Okay.
And I currently run a lot of our wheelchair sports programs, as well as cycling, climbing, a couple other I'm probably forgetting about, and some of our big events.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you're big in the wheelchair sports and getting the kids involved, that type of thing. The COVID pandemic must have been a huge blow for the participants and for you guys. Kind of explain. You guys had to shut down everything. How was it taken, and how are people doing with it?
Yeah, so actually, like you said, it all happened so quick, and I was at the national tournament for wheelchair basketball.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That
time of frame. that time, so, yeah.
Down in Wichita, and it was crazy. We got down there on Wednesday, and then Wednesday night, the thing with the NBA happened, where they canceled the game.
Well, that was the Wednesday night, yeah. The Dallas Maverick thing and Mark Cuban.
Yeah, everyone. It was, it all happened so quick. So then they canceled the kids. All the junior division got canceled, but the adults were still down there. And we kind of finished out the weekend. We played until Saturday, and then
the adults mean the adult players.
Yes, adult players,
not the parents.
Yeah,
right. But the kids' play was then suspended right away.
Yeah, and we had some kids that were already down there on their way down there. So that was kind of the start of everything. And we finished out the weekend, left on Saturday early, and we flew back here, and we were told to kind of grab whatever we wanted from the office, and that the office would be closing, and that was right around the 16th of March there, and we've been out since then.
Wow.
Okay. So. And then I've noticed and assumed, obviously, too, with everything being shut down with COVID, you're just like everyone else. You're getting really involved. I've noticed in a lot of the virtual programs, keeping everyone engaged and given them, because everyone needs something to do while we're in this lockdown.
Yeah.
So why don't you talk more about the different virtual programs you have in that?
Yeah, so like we kind of said, everything was canceled when we got back. Everything for spring, for summer. The expo was canceled, one of our huge events. And
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we pivoted quickly. We, nobody knew what Zoom was in the beginning of March, but now I think we all know what it is and are pretty familiar with it. But
we're zooming in our sleep now.
Yeah, pretty much. It's Zoom everything, and so we started with that. We started with just some socials, and it was just a chance for people to come and hang out together on Zoom because we're all stuck at home, everything's happening. And then we built from there. We sent out a survey asking people what they were interested in doing or learning about or seeing from us virtually, and then just continued to build from those social events on what we could provide for people. And we ended up developing this huge slate of online programming, and some of it was continuing practices that were supposed to be going on. Power Soccer was practicing at home virtually.
Wow.
So there was some.
That video I want to get a hold of and put on the channel.
There are dogs no longer talking to their owners.
Yes, and then it just it kept going. We did more practices, more things, and people responded that they really wanted to be engaged in workout type activities or fitness classes. So we started some weekly fitness classes. We have a high intensity workout class. We have a spin and cycle in place class. And for a lot of this stuff, like power soccer, we had to try and get equipment out to people. So computers, or making sure that they had access to Zoom, or even just
Zoom or
equipment
something.
in general. Having a bike that you can spin in place on, or having a power soccer chair that you can practice in the driveway on.
Oh, okay. And the driveway, okay.
Yeah.
I was picturing them in the house, knocking into
Just
yeah, you're right,
running
the
everything over.
driveway. Yeah, sorry.
And have you ever seen the power soccer ball? It's rather large.
Yeah, I remember, I remember that now, yeah.
You definitely would have some holes in your walls if you were inside of that with the power.
Right.
But hey, some of those kids are pretty good at controlling that thing. So
Yes.
I would imagine so on that. It's yeah. Now I should be honest with you. Quite a few years ago, I was a coach of the Rolling Rowdies, the junior program. At that time, we had the 8-foot team. I started with them. An individual who was coaching the 10-foot program, a friend of mine, we both played wheelchair basketball together. He got me to help him with the program. He did the 10-foot team. I did the 8-foot team, and he did what the typical thing was, is when you get someone involved, then you leave. So I was suckered in. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing the 10-foot program.
Now you're stuck. Yeah.
Right, but it was very enjoyable, because I know the importance of any type of athletics. For me, it was the wheelchair component of it, and Charlie's involved with floor hockey, and we just know the importance of whatever sport it is really two things. It's getting the kids involved so they have something to do, but what they don't realize what's happening too is they're seeing what they're going to be able to do as they're getting older.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's important nowadays to some extent, because kids are being integrated into their own home schools, so they're not with a bunch of, like when Charlie and I went to high school, at that time our high school had able-bodied kids, but all the Minneapolis disabled kids were there. So we had a lot of disabled friends. But nowadays you're integrated into your schools. So with the sports programs that Courage Kenny has to offer, it gives that opportunity for the kids to come together and learn from one another in that. So
yeah, and we hear that all the time, where when they're coming to practice just to be a kid with their friends. Everyone is on the same playing field. Everyone's using the same equipment. It's all, it's just fun, you know.
Right, and Mark, as Mark said, we grew up with that, and that disappeared for a lot of kids. So the Courage Kenny programs are their best option to get involved and be with kids with, of their own type, if you will.
Yeah.
So
we had in November, you guys have that tournament, and when I was involved, the tournament was out at Camp Courage.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So you can understand how it's been a while since. but what was interesting is that like any team, we had being at camp, we all stayed out at camp, and so we set a curfew because we all had our cabins, and kids will be kids. Someone didn't come for curfew, thought he was special because he was a starter, so kind of thought, he could buck the system a little bit. And, the next morning, and he knew, we told him, you're not starting because you missed curfew. We were a little concerned, wondering how the parents would take it, because I don't need to tell you this, parents, they come at you at different angles.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
are really serious about it. And so talking with a friend that I was that was coaching with me, we were just like, well, hopefully this doesn't cause too many problems. And we, told the parent first. We said, hey, we're going to be telling your kid, they're not starting. They're going to sit out the first quarter. And it was the exact reaction we hoped for from a parent, because we said, that's the reason we want the kid involved, is he has to understand there are consequences.
That's
like they kind of made the like they said, the basketball, having fun is good, but it's the discipline and the responsibility is why they put the kids into that program. And Charlie sees that too with,
Oh, yeah.
with your, we love to play, because you have to follow the rules, you have to behave yourself,
Yeah.
or, you'll be in some trouble.
Yeah. And we owe Courage Kenny great gratitude for letting us use your facilities for the last 25 years, so. Well, at a cost, of course, but, but, it's a great pleasure to use the facility there. Now, as things might loosen up a little bit with Courage and with the COVID pandemic, what is, Courage Kenny looking forward in, trying to get people back involved, hopefully maybe in a group setting?
Yeah, so, it's going to look different, but I think everything is going to look a little different. Right now, we're developing those protocols or those, processes that we can use to make sure we're getting people back safely. We're following a lot of the Minnesota Department of Health guidelines for returning to youth sports, as far as getting back to basketball practice
Right.
or getting
Track
back to
and
something,
whatever, yeah, something, whatever it is.
And right now, our next step is moving into, outdoor, low exposure type programs, and that's stuff like skills camps or tennis or cycling or maybe
right,
martial
yeah.
arts.
Yeah.
and
Right.
Some things where we
the
can be.
individual type.
Where
Yeah.
you can still keep a proper social distance and,
Yeah.
and still be in the company of other people.
Yeah, and I think the tough part is for parents and other people is you're seeing some of your youth programs starting. Is the kids are out playing baseball, the kids are out playing soccer,
Yeah.
and they're like,
Yeah.
why aren't we in the gym? And it's just
Yeah.
because the population we serve is
'Cause
high
you're
risk
inside
and
the
at
building,
risk,
which-
and yep.
In the building, that's
Yeah.
a whole nother dimension
Yeah.
of the COVID. It's like eating. You can go out and eat at a patio in a restaurant, but
Yeah.
it's that same
Yeah.
thing. If you could do everything outdoors,
Right.
we'd have a lot more flexibility.
And as we hit on this pretty much, for the kids, the sport isn't the only thing. It's the social interaction, and with all the separation, that really takes a toll on them, and they're really chomping at the bit to get back involved. And you still got to tell them we can't do it yet. And so any step forward is a big plus for these kids.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna hopefully host an event in a couple of weeks where we're gonna have some kids come out and do some just basic wheelchair skills and drills to get moving, get outside, see their friends. And I said, I don't know if we quite realize how hard it is going to be to keep 8 of these 10 to 14-year-old kids away from each other
Right.
while they're out out running around
If
and
you-
cruising
if you,
around. And,
Yeah.
Get them to wear the mask
Yeah.
and hope for the best. And
Yeah.
because kids don't social distance.
No.
And
Right.
when you talk about putting 30 school kids in a classroom, that's not going to work. No. There's no social distancing in a classroom.
Yeah, and so we're going to do our best, and we're just going to put everything in place that we can, any protocols, safety, screening,
Right.
anything like that in place, and be as safe as we can as we return. So
At this point, for a lot of programs like this, ours included, it's going to be probably seeing a vaccine before we can get fully back to where we were.
yeah.
Right. I guess I know when I was involved in the wheelchair sports and with the kids too, you always wanted, when we would talk about it, and that we always wanted to let people understand that there is equipment. So if you just want to try a sport, don't worry about having to get your own chair or whatever it may be. First come out and just see if it's something that you enjoy
Interested
doing.
in, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because whatever it may be, you guys are able to provide the equipment to get them started.
Yeah.
Because once, and I'm sure you see this all the time, once they get started, then it's going to be mom and dad's issue.
Yeah.
The kid's now talking to
Yeah.
mom and dad. And then you're like, okay, it's out of our hands now. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when some of the, you see some of these kids that get involved in 2 or 3 different sports. They're playing wheelchair basketball, then they're skiing in the winter, and then they're like, hey, I kind of want to play sled hockey or track too, and then you're
Right.
Like,
So-
It's
and-
just like able-bodied sports.
Yeah.
If they're doing hockey or whatever, it's the equipment that comes with it.
and sports wheelchairs and such are not inexpensive.
No, not at all. And that kind of brings up a good, I kind of forgot to mention this, but it brings up a good thing. One of the silver linings we were able to take away from doing virtual and online programming is expanding what we're talking to people about. And that included hosting information about how to go and get a grant if you want to buy a piece of equipment.
Oh, right, yeah.
Bringing in organizations to talk about the grant process and what you can do to be successful, and then introducing people to things that Courage, like driver's assessment or
Yeah.
Right, because
different,
you're more than just the sports.
yeah,
Right. Because you got the whole Kenny,
Yeah.
Sister Kenny. If you want to just touch on that, kind of how if the two are a little different, because you got Sister Kenny that joined with Courage Center, because before this interview, I had to repeat in my head, not Courage Center, because that's what it was when I was involved. So I'm like, Courage Kenny, Courage Kenny, Courage Kenny. So yeah, if you want to talk about the joint, yeah, that too, how those two work.
and that's all right. A lot of people still say Courage Center.
Right, yeah.
So, so Courage Kenny is an inpatient and outpatient rehab center, or rehabilitation institute is what we call it. So
Right, yep.
we have transitional rehab where there's people actually staying at Courage after an injury or after surgery or something
Okay.
like that, where they're transitioning out to move out of Courage and move on to other services.
Right.
And then inpatient, outpatient rehab, as well as a host of other things I can't list. I'm sorry if I
No,
missed people's
that's
things,
fine.
but
That's fine, because we're only giving you so much time.
Yeah.
No, you can't get more time right now, okay?
And it's also my understanding that they just reopened the facility for outpatient care.
yes.
And so it's a slow road back, but at least there's some sign of normalcy returning. I know that the gymnasium there is still off limits because they use it for inpatient care for therapies and such, and they don't want any outside groups to come in and cause any possible contamination of the area.
Yeah, it was really nice. I went in there earlier this week actually.
To
And
get your old sandwich you forgot back there in March, right?
yeah, clean out the fridge and then
Yeah, just come on, be honest with us.
so I stopped in and we were doing some bike fittings because we finally got cleared to do some equipment fittings and
good,
things
great,
like that.
That's cool, yeah.
And it was nice to see the parking lot out front moving again. There's
Yeah.
people in the fitness center working out. There's people
Yeah.
coming in for outpatient rehab. It's really
It's
nice
a
to
hub.
see things
Courage
finally going.
County, especially
Yeah.
the facility out in Golden Valley, is a hub, because, that's how it was when I was involved.
And it has
Constantly
been
people,
for 50 years.
yeah, 50
And,
years. in that.
And some of us are still going to find us haunting the place. So.
And I would assume the pool is still closed, but swimming therapeutic is a big component.
The pool actually has opened a little
it
bit.
has?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's there's a lot of restrictions around things, and it's
Right.
a lot of one-on-one. But the pool and fitness center have started to softly and slowly
Okay,
open.
yeah, I
so
wanted to at least get the pool mentioned,
Yeah.
because we've been talking, gym and track and all that other stuff, but the pool is a big component of Courage Art, because, my wife was a lifeguard at one time. I actually met my wife through
nice.
Courage Center at
Courage
the
Center.
time. So, right, yeah, she was,
That's why he doesn't go there anymore.
right, yeah. She actually interned in the sports and rec department.
That's how I weaseled my way in too.
Yeah.
I was an intern 3 years ago now. And,
Okay.
And
Yep.
then they just suck you in.
Yeah, I kept my foot in the door and wouldn't let him close it.
Yeah.
It's the best job you'll ever hate.
Yeah, I love it, and it was a place out of college that I looked at and was like, I want to be there.
Yeah, because it's one of the top ranked.
yeah, well known.
Those of us that grew up in the Twin Cities, we don't realize how good we have it until you start going. I won't say other states, but I go
Yeah.
to other states and I just, I see they go, how do you do that? I go, well, we just got this we have this Courage Kenny facility, and we just go out there and find out what we want to be doing, and
Well,
if they don't have it, they might start it.
I say that to people sometimes too, because we all know that Metro can be a little
Yeah.
wonky
Yeah. Yeah.
at times. Metro mobility.
Okay, you
And
said
that-
it, you said, yeah, no, but,
I,
yeah, right.
I
No,
say it,
it's a
but
known
we have
problem.
it. You know,
It's a problem, yeah, it's
we
an
have
issue.
it,
We
and
know.
you go places that
Yep.
don't have that type
Yeah.
of service,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's hard to get around. So it's we do, like you said, we have it pretty good here as far as
Well, and
things at our disposal.
Minnesota has been on the forefront of offering different adapted sports for quite a long time. And, I think we still lead the nation in probably those that are still actively involved. And, it's something to be proud of. And Courage County has been a part of that for, as long as I remember. And with that, Ryan, I want to thank you for coming in. We do hope, and hope is the big word, that you guys can get back online, getting those kids back out involved, and seeing each other for the social component. And
In the meantime, we hope to get some, share some information, whatever
Yeah.
you guys have got
Yeah.
going, we can, put out on our Disability Channel Minnesota YouTube. Got to get the plug in for our channel, so
Yeah.
that'll be great.
So,
Yeah.
Ryan, again, thank you so much for coming. And we'll see you in the gym eventually.
Yeah. Thank you guys. This was awesome,
Yeah.
and you can hit this link here and go to see what online things are down here.
That'll be nice. Well, you have to pay extra. If you want it up there, we'll do it, but that's,
We go everywhere.
yeah, we go everywhere.
But thank you guys, and it's been awesome.
Okay, great, thank
Hang
you.
out with you guys.
It was nice meeting you two, too.
All right, I'm Charlie Brose for Disability Landscape. Thanks for tuning in. We'll check you next time.